Well, I hope everyone's having a good day so far. I am Jeremy Caverley of JMC Ministries. And I just wanted to share briefly with you guys that I stand before you as an advocate for homelessness, sex trafficking, physical and verbal domestic violence, because I have been a victim of all these things. It started when I was a child, not even a year of age. My own father tried to kidnap me. He was a drug addict. He was a pimp. He wanted to sell me to go make more crack. I'm like 4 months of age. I don't even have a choice in this yet, right? Then we fast forward to later in my life. My mom tries to straighten her life up, but she doesn't get involved with church. She doesn't get involved with anything. And it was when I was in the 5th grade that someone came along in my life that wanted to get involved with Boy Scouts, and we went to his house, and my mom was offered a drink. My mom went 12 years without drinking. She went 12 years without sleeping with a man. And this 5th grade year of age is when the sex trafficking started, because every weekend, that's what I experienced, that's what I was involved in. That's what I saw, that's what I heard. My first sexual experience is in a room with an orgy. I'm in the 5th grade, I'm spending the weekend stuck out somewhere, it's all over me. There's drugs, there's cocaine, there's marijuana, and there's men and women naked all over the place. These men and women would come to me thinking it was the most funniest thing in the world on whatever odor I could smell on their hand, or whatever they just did to my mom. They would tell me. I'm in the 5th grade. So I didn't have much of an opportunity as a child to grow and to prosper and become a person that would have a chance. So I went through school and I got really sick in high school, and it came along. My mom finally met another man. And she married this man. He was a former Marine, and he was also diagnosed with PTSD, and he was involved with a bunch of other things. Drugs again, sex trafficking. This is when the physical violence and verbal abuse started. He could pick my mother up with one hand off the ground. Pick her up by 3 fingers and throw her across the room 15 feet. He could take his thumb, shove it in my throat, and my face is paralyzed for an hour and a half, and I couldn't talk. He could do all of these wonderful, miraculous things because he learned this while he was in the military. He learned how to hurt people to save our country, but at the same point, something happened to him along the way. I found out the backstory is he was molested as a child, and he saw one of his relatives get burned alive and a bunch of other crazy stuff, but it's still not an excuse. So this led me, because of all these situations, my mother involved with the wrong kind of man, my stepfather's involved with the wrong kind of thing. I never even knew my father. So the next step that happens, I get an opportunity to try and get a scholarship. And I'm driving my stepdad's old 1974 Suburban. And a rod busts in the oil pan. And I'm right here on the main highway in Texas. And there's oil all over the place. And the one part that I didn't mention, I just had a 4-year scholarship, a music scholarship to Stephen F. Austin University. That would have covered the dorm, that would have covered the food, it would have covered everything. I'm 18 years of age. I also had another scholarship to a community college for a jazz band. The one thing I didn't mention, I've been involved in music since I was 5. I was really great on the clarinet. Symphonic band, solo and ensemble, state kinds of things. Well, my dreams were shattered. 12 years ago, my dreams were shattered when that truck blew up. Now imagine a town the size of Frankfurt. This was a town that had like one little stoplight, and that was about it. There wasn't anything to do. There was a Dairy Queen, and kind of like going to Frankfurt. What's there to do in Frankfurt? I mean, if you don't have a vehicle, where are you going to go? If you don't have any friends, what are you going to do? See, people knew me as the kid that stunk in school because when my mom ran off, there was no one to do anything. I had an invalid grandmother that I had to take care of from the age of 12 that was in a wheelchair. I was the kid that when I would start going to youth group in high school, it was people like you and you and you and you that would come in my life. People that were in churches, deacons, youth pastors, ministers, people that met me and gave me an opportunity to have a different life. Even still, at the same time this hell was going on, I ended up homeless. Now, the interesting thing about being homeless is when I was in high school, I read a book called The 10 Challenges of a World Changer by Ron Luce. My grandmother signed it, one of my friends signed it, and several others from the school and the community signed it. And one of the challenges at the end was to go on a mission trip and join Team Mania Ministries, go to their Honor Academy internship for a year. And oh yeah, by the way, you got to go on a mission trip before you even go that far. So fast forward to now I'm homeless, and a man comes up to me. He's probably about the age of Jennifer's spouse here, and almost looks the same. His name is Tom. And I showed my wife the other night. It looks like Michael. Just imagine shorter hair and all white. That's Tom Boggs. It's amazing. Looking at Mike and thinking about Tom Boggs, it's the same thing. So he says, what if I gave you an opportunity? You're here at a homeless shelter here in Texas. What if I told you you could go to Acquire the Fire, and we're going to try and get you on a mission trip, and we're also going to try and get you to go to the Honor Academy while you're homeless? Not while I get my life straightened up. Not while I wait for the government to do something. Not while I wait for somebody else to do something for me. No, he said, God's going to change your life, and God's going to bring the people into my life to give me an opportunity to make a difference. So this led me to raising funds and bringing awareness and talking to people why I'm living in God Tell Ministries homeless shelter in Lufkin, Texas. This is 12 years ago. So I raised my funds, and when I came back from the conference, I ended up going to the bathroom. At first I was going to go to Thailand, then I was going to go to Ethiopia. But as you see over here, this little sign over here with the green, I ended up going to South Africa for over a month. I was even picked as a mission advisor for the trip because I was over the age of 18. So here's a homeless man going to a ministry to be a mission advisor. And oh yeah, by the way, you're going to learn the drama. We're going to give you the leading role in the drama. The drama was called The Journeyman. And we were given an opportunity to share in this drama. If your hands are stained with sin, and figuring out along life's journey, who are you and why are we here? Now we look at verses like Matthew 6, 31 through 32 that talks about don't worry about what we should eat or what we should drink or what we should wear because the pagans run after these things. The people of the world are so focused on themselves they can't do anything. But the end of this little verse is the most powerful poignant statement. It says, our Heavenly Father knows that you need these things. Now, I mentioned before, it was people that came into my life. And I'm looking across the room at the different nonprofits and organizations, and even the people in the audience, and I'm sitting there challenging you. Just like when I was in the Coast Guard, our motto was Semper Paratus, which meant always ready. I had people's lives in my hand when they would call in and ask for a case and say Mayday. If I didn't have the opportunity to move forward, someone was going to die. If I didn't get a hold of the right command, if I didn't get the ship sent out, and I didn't get the people sent, the stress command, the same pledge is sent to you right now. Semper Paratus. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the lives of Chillicothe, Ohio in your hands. You can't wait for someone else to do it because they're not in this room listening to this speech. You're being challenged today by everyone to get involved. Like, well, why should you get involved? Well, here's an example of me and then many others who have had people come in our lives and honestly done something. Made big, massive changes. Like 1 Peter 4:10, it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others. No, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Mother Teresa said it very well when she said, we think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homelessness. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. We must start in our own homes to remedy this kind of poverty. That is the challenge today, is can we love one another today? Can we really reach out to these people that are sick or hurt and hungry or need medical care or they need a place to stay or they need something? Can we really remove the mask of ourselves, take the glasses off and say, I really care. I really want to make a difference in that life. And that's why people are raising money. There are grants out there. But organizations can't get their grants if they don't have the people working for it. If we can't prove that there's a need in this county. I have been face to face with a man that lives down by the river. I know that sounds like a joke, but I'm being serious. There's a man that lives at the river right here off of Main Street. There's a group of people offside of the Chillicothe Baptist Church, right on 35. There's a group of people that live in tent cities. On the other side of 772, the other side of Bainbridge, and the list can go on and on and on. I have met these people. Some of them have mental problems. Some of them don't. Some of them are just like me. Some of them are at the men's shelter. Some of them are at Daughters of Roof. I've been to Daughters of Roof. I've been to the men's shelter. I've talked to them. I've seen and listened to their stories. David Platt is a man who wrote a book called Radical. And one of the stories that he was talking about that really stuck out to me is he said he was listening to one of the churches talking about how they raised $23 million for a new sanctuary, while another church down the street could only raise $5,000 for a mission trip to Sudan to feed 350,000 hungry people. In Chillicothe alone, we have 20,000 people. In the whole county, there are 60,000 people. When I go to the Continuum of Care meetings and we talk about what is the immediate need for the people, we can sit here and say that we're reaching Chillicothe immediately, somewhat effectively, but what about the rest of the county? What about the rest of the people here? That's one of the questions that I have to you guys today. You know, what really matters? What's important? You know, we can find out that like the oldest hospital, which is a known fact, was founded by the church. The oldest rescue mission in America was founded by Jerry McAuley in 1872. See, what we're going through now with this, whatever you want to call it, happened back in the 1800s. I used to talk to my grandmother, who would be about 93, 94 right now, when she would work in the factories during World War II, and she said, sometime in my lifetime, a depression of some sort is going to happen again, and it's going to have to be the hands and feet of the body of Christ to want to step up and make a difference like they did when the hospitals started, when the rescue mission started, when the Salvation Army in the 1700s in England decided to come over here to America and want to make a difference. See, Marvin Olasky wrote something called Beyond the Stingy Welfare State, a policy review in fall 1990. He believed that charity workers of a century ago were successful because they were inspired by 7 ideas that recent practices may not even be aware of. And I'll say them to you. Affiliation, bonding, characterization, discernment, employment, freedom, and God. Now, what is the biggest thing that steps out to you when you hear these kinds of things? Discernment, knowing when to help someone and knowing when not to. Or categorization, you know, what do they need? How do we find employment? One of the programs going on around the area that I'm aware of and helping is training people that are homeless or are in college or something to find the things that they need to do. So that's part of the other side of the coin. There's just so many things when someone comes in that gets help, there's so many things that they need all at once. You know, it's an opportunity, I believe, that we're faced with, whether you're a Christian or not, whether you're from Ohio or not. I'm not even from here. But I believe in compassion and igniting a flame within somebody. See, I believe that we can uplift and restore the people right here in our own community. I believe we can give them a hand up and not a handout. I believe that we must require people to want to have change by allowing there to be a godly responsibility of Jesus Christ in their lives. Because Jesus is the ultimate changer, the ultimate life changer that no one can measure up to. But we have to give them that reason and motivation to do so. See, the people themselves, a lot of them need to be educated. They need to be responsible and have the desire for the said change. So I challenge you this. This is an adversity moment. This is something that is affecting us all. We have friends that are unemployed. We've had friends that have lost things and gone through things. So I say this last thing. Adversity is overcome when you let the hottest of fires in your life forge you into the strongest of steel. Because if God can change me and help me and lead me on the right path and set me free and give me an opportunity to go on a homeless mission trip and come back to America and have friends and family who see me as this little 19-year-old kid who doesn't have anything to stand for, well, guess what God's done now? I'm now the Vice President of Student Senate. I have 2 classes left at Ohio University, Chillicothe. I am the CEO of a ministry and many other various things that have gone on in my life. That God can rip everything out of my life, all my family gone, most of them dead, lose everything, lose 4 homes, lose 2 fathers. I found out my real father and my adoptive father is gone. I totally believe if God can bring people in my life that are Christians and some that weren't, because I'll give it that, some weren't, but they actually cared. They actually wanted to see that I succeeded. And a lot of them are still my friends today. So I challenge you today to go talk to some of these organizations. Talk to your church. Talk to somebody today, not tomorrow, today, before 7 p.m. if you can, and find out what can I do to make a difference. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of time. You just need your heart, because it starts at your heart. God bless. Thank you very much.